Hello, awesome humans. It's Nina Kovner with Passion Squared, and welcome back to the podcast. We were off last week because I did a staycation, and it was a very productive staycation, which is not always the goal with staycations. However, remember, you get to decide what you need, when you need it, what self care looks like, what your staycations look like. And I got a lot of shit done, and I'm feeling pretty grounded and grateful. So I hope that you had a good week, and let's get into it. A few weeks ago, we shared something on our Instagram, and it was about understanding target market, what we call brand people. And a big part of that, the context that's needed so desperately with that, is understanding the actual available market. So, for the purpose of this episode, we're going to talk about the salon market. So, let me first share the post with you, and then I'm going to dive into it a little deeper. So, the post says, "Not everyone goes to a salon, and some never will." The available market for salons is what we call salon-going consumers. Now, I've been using that term for as long as I've been in marketing, which is a few decades. It's how I did marketing for a global brand in the beauty industry. It's the simplest way for me to explain it. There's salon-going consumers and there's non-salon-going consumers. So within the salon-going consumer market, of course, there's consumers who have different problems, different needs, different budgets, and who value different things. However, what's critically important to understand, and one thing that I believe creates so much frustration for salons and stylists, is remembering that more than half of the United States consumers will never get a hair color service. Not in a salon. They either don't see value, they don't value the experience, they don't have the budget. Yet, when I see, and this has been going on forever, when I see people with marketing content, it's almost like screaming into the void, trying to convince non-salon going consumers that they, in fact, should be salon going consumers. This comes up in posts like price shaming, general client shaming, judgment around where people choose to get their home care products. I could go on and on. You get it. You maybe have created those posts yourself, or you've definitely seen them. So here's the caption. Your target market audience, or what we call brand people, is not everybody on the planet, right? It begins with understanding the difference between what we call salon-going consumers and non-salon-going consumers. And of course, inside the salon-going consumers market, people have different needs, they value different things. So can a consumer change from a non-salon-going consumer to salon-going? Absolutely. And they do, right? There's some people that have never seen value in a salon experience, and their life circumstances change, their values change, their needs change, their budget changes, and they're like, you know what? I actually love going to a salon. And there are salon-going consumers who at some point in their lives may decide they don't want to go to a salon. They don't see the value. It's outside their budget. So yes, there are obviously transitions between the two markets. However, not significant enough for us to be like, everybody's a potential salon-going consumer. It's just not true. This is why it's so incredibly important to understand your brand. And that's the work we do here at Passion Squared. We call it brand purpose, promise, people, product, service. And in this case, this is the brand people part of understanding. Because when you have clarity around that, then you can design and develop solutions for those you serve, right? You no longer have to spend time and energy trying to prove your worth, convince people of your worth to people that just don't care. And it's okay that they don't care. They're just not the market, right? Again, they don't see value in the experience. It's not important to them, and or they don't have the budget or don't want to spend the money because they don't see value. So it really goes back to focusing on who you serve, what they value, and all of those things. So let's talk about adding a little context, because there's only so much information we can absorb through an Instagram post or a blog post or a Facebook post or a reel or even a podcast. So we always have to remember that this isn't the whole story. It's never the whole story, and every individual is unique. One size does not fit all when it comes to brand, when it comes to pricing strategy, when it comes to business. It just does not. However, having some general understanding around the fundamentals of marketing, which in this case, this is all marketing. Pricing is marketing. Brand is marketing. This is the marketing bucket of your business. It helps you make more aligned decisions. It simplifies your decision-making process, which is what we do at Passion Squared. So I'm going to share a couple marketing and pricing fundamentals with you that I think are really going to help you in not only having more clarity around your brand, your brand people or target audience, target market, however you want to define it, but also aligning your pricing strategy with that. Before I go further, I want to share a little story to really help you see how this happens like in real life. So I'm going to use the example of my family to really illustrate the point of salon going and non-salon going, and remembering that it's not always about budget. So on one side of my family, I had a bunch of very successful doctors. My grandma, my grandpa, my dad, my great uncle, the Kovners. A lot of doctors in the Kovner family. And they had resources. They had privilege, resources. They had budget. However, they saw no value in the salon experience. It just wasn't important to them. So everyone cut their hair at home. They, like, even me going into the industry, and my great grandmother being a hairdresser, she was actually a celebrity stylist at Paramount Studios back in the 1930s in Los Angeles, and a salon owner. Anyways, even with all that, the Kovners generally did not see any value in a salon experience. They had the money, they had the resources, they had the time. They just didn't see value in it. And then I had other family members who are very successful, more of middle income family members who see significant value in the salon experience. They have way less money than the doctors had. However, they saw so much value in the salon experience that they paid to go to a salon. So that's just one little example of, it's not always the actual money, it's what we value. That's what we spend our money on, is what we see value in. And that is going to change over time. Depending on, again, what you value, right? Your values change over time, what you value, what's important to you. You know, when I was really young, I valued, I don't know, like going out all the time, or, you know, spending a ton of money on an outfit. And today I want to spend my money on peanuts for the squirrels. Like, it's changed significantly. Incomes change also. So we just have to remember that when we are objectively looking at our brand, our potential clients, future clients, and all that. So let's dive into something we share with our clients around when it comes to pricing and strategy. There is a classic marketing fundamental principle called the pricing pyramid. And the pricing pyramid is a great example of really looking at your pricing strategy also as connected to your business model, because pricing strategy is about brand, it's about business model, it's about your objectives and your desired outcomes. So think of a triangle, a pyramid, and think of the top of the pyramid. It's quite small, right? The top, the pointy top, it's quite small. So in terms of placing pricing strategy onto the top of that triangle or that pyramid, that would be the highest price of your product or service, but it also has the smallest market, the smallest available market. So we're talking about price versus volume. So in this case, we could put a Range Rover up there at the top of the triangle, the pyramid, and let's say $150 haircut. If you have a $150 haircut, and again, you could apply any service to this or any product. You do less volume, but you're doing it at a higher price, right? So the middle of the pyramid gets a little wider. The middle of the triangle gets a little wider. And that would be more of that middle moderate price. So we could say like a Subaru Outback in terms of cars, or a $75 haircut. So it's a little higher volume, but you're still kind of, you're in the middle. You're in the middle of the triangle. Now let's go to the bottom of the pyramid. The bottom of the triangle is the widest, right? So, but it's also the lowest price. So let's look at maybe a car being like a Kia Soul, which I used to have and I loved so much. Or like a $35 haircut or $20 to $35 haircut. So high volume, low price. All three of those, the $150 haircut, the $75 haircut, and the $35 haircut, all have very legitimate markets. But the market changes as the price goes up. It gets smaller. As the price goes down, it gets larger, wider, higher volume. So let's say somebody doing 10 haircuts a day at the bottom of the pyramid versus doing 4 haircuts a day at the top. It's just an example. So again, all legitimate markets. So there's no need to bash budget haircut brands because they're serving a market. There is a need for that. And there's also no need to bash a premium haircut brand because they are also serving a market. They're just not the same markets. So there's no need to bash anybody. There's no need to client shame. There's who are you talking to when we're doing that? I understand that we all get frustrated when some folks don't see value in our offerings. And those offerings literally could be anything. It could be salon services, it could be educational services, it could be anything. But that's not content, right? That's getting clearer around your brand and remembering that your content is your marketing. So there's obviously a disconnect. If people keep coming to you that are challenging you on your pricing, on your value, on your experience, you're connecting with the wrong people. In my experience, it's actually not a lot of people who are challenging you. It's just that one person that really pisses you off, and then you turn it into an entire marketing campaign, which is exhausting and a total waste of energy and time and attention, all things that are so fucking precious. So the more we understand the available market, salon-going consumers versus non-salon-going consumers, understand where your brand sits, understanding your brand purpose, promise, people, product, and service, understanding your outcomes and objectives, then you can make more aligned decisions for your brand, not what everybody else is doing, because that's not a marketing strategy. What everyone else is doing is not a marketing strategy. Remember, one size doesn't fit all. It just doesn't. And I mean, sometimes I wish it did because it would be a lot simpler. And this is quite simple. However, it's not easy. This is where the work is. This is what we do. This is what we do at Passion Squared. This is what we do in A-School. And it really is getting that clarity around your brand that is the foundation of all the decisions you make, including marketing strategy. And pricing is a function of marketing. Pricing doesn't sit alone on an island. It is part of strategy. So remember that. Salon going consumers, non-salon going consumers. Where do you fit on the price pyramid? Where do you want to fit on the price pyramid? All of these things empower you to make more aligned decisions. And in turn, feel more fucking joy, more purpose, more just fulfillment. That's why we're here. A-School's opening up. We're welcoming new members starting May 1st. If that's something that speaks to you, if you want to dive in and get more clarity around your brand, if you want to make more aligned decisions, if you want to be surrounded by a community of the most incredible, awesome, kind, compassionate, wise, experienced leaders, join us. We'd love to have you. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to connect off the podcast, you can find us on the socials at Passion Squared and find us on the web at passionsquared.net. You're doing awesome. I'm so proud of you. Have a beautiful day. Bye.